Alright, there we go. Almost forgot to change the category. At least I don't think I changed it until just now. Well, it wouldn't be the first time, that's for sure. Alright. So, I've got maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours or something. A little bit shorter than normal, but I want to try to get through a little bit of stuff. I almost gave in to my urges and just played Cataclysm for 3 hours. Like, oh, did I just start a new? Damn it. I was gonna say, I almost decided just to stream Cataclysm. Oops, no, hold on, game, please. Why is it so easy to do this? No, I don't care about the base. We're loading the actual file. Thank you. Okay. But yeah, I'll try to split it even-ish. So, yesterday, 3 days ago now, actually, Ava was thinking about the epitaph, basically. Thinking about elves. Are you gonna get up and resign already? I guess you are that tired. If only you just grab a futon and sleep. As my mind grew vague and I pretended to fight my drowsiness, while sinking deeper and deeper into the sofa, I scolded myself. You also dreamed about stealing the position of family head from Kraus, right? Even though my magic's given you a chance, are you already throwing it away? You could say that, but this riddle is really hard. Even a wire puzzle would be better. Is there light? From darkness. At least in that case, you know for sure that it's solvable. In the case of this epitaph riddle, we've been given no reason to be sure of that. We might just be fighting a useless battle. Still hazy, I looked at the notebook I'd been holding the whole time. It was open to a page with the epitaph, which I must have stared at hard enough to burn holes in it. So many hundreds of nights I'd lost count. Oh, also that reminds me, someone commented on the previous VOD, I listed off the survivors wrong. I said that the survivors of episode 2 were Rosa, Maria, Battler, George, and Kinzo. It was actually Rosa, Maria, Battler, Genji, and Kinzo. George was dead there, so that whole mislead thing I said about George being alive so far in every episode, totally wrong, totally wrong. Ignore me on that. But yeah, I've adjusted the list, so if I happen to bring that up again at one point, it should be correct now. That page is truly a door. On the other side lies the Golden Land, a place I've wanted to drag myself to, no matter the effort, ever since I was a child, and the place I was never able to reach. Am I touching the door with both hands? With the book? No, the door right there in front of me, ready to be opened, and yet still unable to reach the other side? That's right. Your hand is already upon the door. Come on, open it with all your strength, and read the characters written on the door. Open it with all my strength. Read the characters written on the door. Strain your eyes. See through to the thing beyond the epitaph written in the notebook. The beloved hometown definitely won't betray our expectations. The only past father held dear happened during his childhood years. That's right. Then what about the Sweetfish River? There are several rivers where they swim, and there is reason to doubt that this just refers to one close to the place father lived. If we take on a map and start calculating which rivers with Sweetfish were closest, things will quickly get vague and we won't be able to narrow it down. Didn't you say it yourself? You said it didn't have to be a river with water flowing down it. If the word Sweetfish is too complicated, why not forget it? Think of a river. A river. Linking it with a family tree wasn't a bad idea. Try thinking about how to link a river with something else along those lines. What if I don't want to? It isn't a river? But where else could Sweetfish swim? Oh, but if we're talking about places Sweetfish can swim, then maybe the ocean has something to do with this. Did my husband even say that they go into the ocean even though they're river fish? To the ocean. No, but... Huh? Did you notice? But that's just a faint memory. There's supposed to be a room for storing books in this building, right? If you investigate, you can make sure. If that's the Sweetfish River, and if the key might be a 6-character word, then could the key actually be resting in that river? I don't know. Anyway, I have to search in an atlas. But even if I know that, I don't know from what I should take this as characters. If you really don't know, think deeply. We're pretty smart, so our ideas are solid. Don't think of it like it's something as massive as the riddle of the epitaph, but like it's a child's riddle. Men are always children, no matter how old they get. Even if father has advanced into old age, that doesn't change the fact that he's essentially a child at heart. Throw away your awe of father. Think of this like it's a worthless, infantile game with riddles, like the ones Marius suddenly brought out on the boat. Riddles. Worthless, infantile. Huh. Ah. I'm sure that was... What was it? I'm sure, if my memory isn't wrong, that it's probably the case. No, I don't have to rely on my vague memory. I should be able to figure that out immediately by searching the library. You probably already noticed the answer. All that's left is to investigate whether it's correct or not. Come on, Ava. Let's go to the library, making sure no one sees us. Here, we should find a mountain of thick books that can fit in Father's study. I'm sure we'll find a book that answers our question. Quickly. This is the first and last chance we'll ever get to make our dreams come true. So, it's not going to tell you what the answer is here. You don't get that until way later on in Umineko. It's left that way, so you could try to solve it, but good luck. Bad chance. When Natsu tried to lay a blanket over her, Ava suddenly jumped up. I'm sorry, it looks like I woke you. Ava, if you're sleepy, don't overdo it. You rest first. Thank you. I'm just going to the bathroom for a bit to wash my face. You should take it easy and rest. You're just gonna make yourself feel worse, you know. I told you I'm fine. I'll be right back. After leaving only those words behind, I rapidly left the lobby. The lobby was partitioned off by a door, so as soon as I went to the corridor, they could no longer see me. The library was next to the servant room. Father always owned a vast book collection. Ever since he started to become engrossed with his occult hobby, that collection grew even larger. So the number of books suitable for normal study had been forced out as his study overflowed. This so-called library was mostly used as a storage room for those normal books. So there's a library in the guest house. That's interesting. I guess it's just an overflow place, but it's gonna read that it's in the guest house. They were all thick, like complete encyclopedias for intellectuals, but that was very convenient for me, now that I was investigating something. I entered softly, and just in case, I checked the room with my gun and readied, making sure there were no suspicious people there. Then I locked it from the inside. I actually wasn't thinking that the murderer might be hiding somewhere. What scared me was the thought that one of my siblings might hear what I was investigating. My heart started racing before I realized it. I was half asleep just a moment ago, so I didn't realize how significant this thing I noticed was. But as I gradually became aware, my heart started to feel like it was about to explode. I wonder if any of the other siblings have noticed this. I don't think Kress and Rudolph will notice, but I don't know about Kitty. She has extraordinarily good intuition. I don't know about Rosa either. Rosa's stupid too. She always has been, incredibly so. Really? I'd say she was wise enough to make you think she was stupid, so that she didn't earn herself unnecessary malice. Here it is. I wonder if we'll find it in this one. Pulled the book out and flipped through the pages. So this is Sweetfish River? I see. This is what the Sweetfish River means. Dot all around, research river. Yes, I understand. As you travel down it, you'll see a village. Using the character Sato, does he mean a town or something? It's just an area of dense population, so there could be any number of those. Why have you stopped thinking? Oh, is this too much work for you? If only you just give up. If only you just hand the Ushimi headship over to Kirie. I don't want to. I'll become the head. This is, my first and last chance. What is this village? What does it mean? What is the significance of Mr. Bean? Do you find one if you go down the river? In the village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. Kishi means shore. Get it? Well, I understand. Shore. Right before my eyes, the pieces that I hadn't been able to understand at all began to snap into place all by themselves. I couldn't even remember to close my open mouth. My throat grew completely dry. Is it really okay for this to be the answer? But really? Hi there. I haven't done meatball crafting for a while. I kind of want to go back to it, but it's going to be a while for sure. Because I'm wrapped up in a bunch of other like really long games right now. I've been hooked on Cataclysm, Dark Days Ahead recently, and I'm also reading through Umineko live on stream as well, among other things. Meatballcraft was fantastic though, and I do kind of want to go back to it. But at this point, I don't even know if like my old world would work properly. You know, I assume they've done quite a few updates. I do still have it. I kept it just in case. I don't know if it'd be better to start over. Probably not, because it was like, what, 30 streams to reach that point? Starting over is probably not a good idea. I did just have to resume from there and catch up. Like, remind myself of what I've been doing. Like last I checked, I was still getting angry at Bombcraft. But this isn't 6 characters at all. I'm absolutely sure this is the answer, but this doesn't reach 6 characters at all. Did you stop thinking again? In that case, think of a way you could read it with 6 characters. If you can't think of one, then research it. There has to be an answer. You must not doubt that. Oh, is believing that too much for you? If only you just cry yourself to sleep, then you can just give up and die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 6 characters. I found it. This is the key to the Golden Land. Yes, this is the key to the Golden Land. The key to our childhood dreams. The only keyhole this key can be stuck in is that place. That has to be what offering the sacrifices means. I'm sure you get it by now, right? Ah. Yeah, we'll eventually get a full explanation of the epitaph puzzle. I'm pretty sure it's like just Japanese stuff, so it's not really solvable for foreigners, but I don't really remember many of the details. I kind of glossed over it. It was a long time ago that I first read Umineko, after all. I've never done a full reread either. This way? Go this way? Let's check this out. They're inviting me to go this way. My heart leapt, because there, gaping wide, was an open mouth of the eerie darkness. What's this? What is this? When I strained my eyes, peering into the darkness, I saw something that looked like a light switch. In addition, there was a switch with open and close written on it. When I resolutely pushed the switch, rough lights, like you'd find in a coal mine, turned on sporadically, making a staircase that stretched underground come hazily into view. Weirdly enough, it looked even more gloomy with the lights turned on. Near the light switch was that open and close switch. It would probably open or close this, but if the open part happened to be broken, I might be shut away in this creepy underground area for all eternity. So for the time being, I didn't touch that switch, and as I readied my gun again, I slowly went down the stairs. The ceiling was very high, so it didn't feel cramped. On the contrary, it felt as though a cool breeze was blowing upwards, and that creepiness seemed to form a sort of aura. As I readied my gun and carefully stared forwards, I descended the stairs. The walls, the stairs, the lights, all of them were very old-fashioned. It was easy to suspect that this had been built back when the mansion had been constructed on this island. There were cracks in the ceiling, and water clung to the walls, constantly dripping down. The water fell into a gutter that had been set up alongside the stairs, and quickly and silently flowed into the underground darkness, as though it was telling me to go faster. It's not underwater, no, it's just underground. Seems like Ava may have figured out the epitaph. Welcome, Mizu. The staircase kept turning back on itself. I don't know how far down I've gone, but I think it's much deeper than one floor. Eventually, a rough metal door showed itself, and there, characters had been written in a dark red paint. They'd probably been written a long time ago. There we go. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, you shall attain to the power of the Golden Land's treasures, once and for the last time. That's technically red text, but I don't think I need to put it there as red text. It's just written in red physically, so that's not going to go into the file. My heart, which was already about to explode, jumped even more as soon as I recognized those deep red characters. There's no mistake. This is the last stop. Father's Golden Land. I calmed my throbbing heart, somehow regained my composure, and readied my gun again. But since in the end, I couldn't open the door with my gun held in both hands, I lowered the gun, carefully hid my breathing, and opened the door. Nope, the epitaph is the same in both languages. It's just not really very easily solvable. I'll go look it up real quick. Hold on. I believe there's, like, Japanese knowledge necessary, but let me go check real quick. I think the translation is accurate. I actually checked it a while ago. It is, yeah. Let's see. Oh, there's actually some wordplay that they changed apparently in one part of it. I don't necessarily know why until I check the solution again. Let me see here. Yeah, you need, like, geographical knowledge of Taiwan. So, good luck. Right. I see now. I forgot it was like this. It's really silly. Good old 10 quadrillion. I forgot about 10 quadrillion. It's, absolutely ridiculous. There is no way you could realistically solve it. Someone did solve it before it got officially revealed. Like, someone Japanese, like a Japanese player put a theory online among, like, all the other theories. They just didn't know was correct for a while. But, it's... You need to go to Wikipedia. And you would have a really hard time knowing where to start as well. I don't know regarding the history and that kind of thing, but I think maybe like the mention of like the war and stuff is supposed to be in that Kinza grew up there in Taiwan. I don't really know the details. 1986, 1987, 86, I think. This place is my first impression when I saw the room was that it might be linked to one of the rooms in the mansion. That's right, it had exactly the same atmosphere about it as the sealed VIP room on the second floor. This was underground, so there were no windows. There was only the solemn light of a grand chandelier, but even though it was dimly lit by the faint light, the quality of the interior was more than enough to take your breath away. A bed with a canopy, and a rocking chair that looked like it would be comfortable to sit in, an extravagant sofa and carpet. I don't think there were any puzzles that got changed. I mean, like, all the murder mystery stuff is the same. The epitaph is translated very faithfully. Oh, you know, hold on. I want to check something. Oh, I didn't mean to switch to Japanese. I see. It's the 10th Twilight part that apparently got changed around a little bit. Yeah, you actually need knowledge of Chinese as well in order to solve the epitaph. Since it's not really like plot relevant in the sense that like knowing the solution isn't going to spoil anything, I won't get into full detail, but essentially, I guess if you really care, you want to try to solve it yourself by trowling Wikipedia for a few days. Shut your ears for a minute, but hey Gax. The gist is, the river refers to a real river in, Taiwan. However, there is a railway with the same name as the river, the Danshui Railway Line. And you're supposed to, like, go down the railway line, find a station that has the kind of your village and shore in it, as well as two occurrences of mouth, which is supposed to be the two that tell you, like let's see here, like the shore the two tell you of. Essentially, that's all there. And then so that station is read as Kirigan, but in Japanese, it's read as, well, Quilian. And oh god, I don't even know how to explain this other part. Let's see. Essentially, you need to do something weird with, like, assuming something very silly. Oh, I see. Okay, in the official localization. Oh. That's why they changed it. Okay, I see how they changed it. I see now. I understand. Okay. It's the first and last time thing. It's because Kyo, here the land in Golden Land, can be read Rather, there's a kanji, that means 10 quadrillion. That can be read as kyo, as well as k. I guess I don't know if the k part matters here. It says, the 10 twilights are raised to the 4th exponent for each of the Golden Lens treasures, and the result is raised to the 4th exponent again to fulfill the phrase once and for the last time, forming 10 quadrillion. The first twilight is thus 1/10 of this number, and so you remove the letters from Kirion, the Chinese reading for Kirikan. So you move that from the word quadrillion, and in the end, after doing some more silly stuff with the letters, you end up with Lordu, which is short for Lord Ushidamiya. And then I think essentially, like, if I remember right, it's not really spoiler, I think Ava's underneath the chapel right now. I believe what it is there's like letters outside on the chapel, and you have to like move the letters or like the plates or something silly like that. See, in English, they tried to make the wordplay work by saying to the power of. Get it? That's why that's worded so strangely. It's like math. You shall attain to the power of the Golden Lens treasures. I don't understand the math behind this. I don't claim to, and I don't really care to. But I see how they did it. It's just as ridiculous in both languages, honestly. But anyway, let's move on from that. If you want full details, I don't recommend looking it up because you'll probably spoil yourself on stuff for the other BNs. Because this doesn't get explained until... let's see. I'm not even sure. It's somewhere in the second half. It's either in 5 or like 7? Oh yeah, I think it's explained in the 7th. Also, I just saw pictures of characters I forgot even existed. Man, there are so... I legit forgot those characters existed. Okay. There are too many damn characters in this game. Okay. A bed with a canopy and a rocking chair that looked like it would be comfortable to sit in. An extravagant sofa and carpet. The room was like a dream every girl yearns for at least once. Yeah. Oh, I see. That's really funny, actually. I mean, in Japanese, they just use the hiragana. Funny enough. Huh. It doesn't really mean gull normally, but Umineko means seagull. It's not like neko usually means gull, to my knowledge at least. I don't so. I mean, no, because you literally just do write Umineko, like real put right there, as sea cat, even in Japanese, if you write it with kanji, which you typically don't, but still. And yet, since it was an underground hidden room with no windows, it felt more like the hidden house of a witch. Yeah, if it's a Chinese thing, I wouldn't know. Wouldn't surprise me, though. Obviously, you know, the nature of Japanese is kind of ripped off from Chinese, largely. Thank you. Thank you. I never saw the legend of Beatrice went to the forest. However, after being shown this room, it certainly became hard to doubt that she actually had existed and had lived in this room. Is someone there? Even though I was completely shocked by this room, I carefully, no, timidly, searched the interior with my gun raised. And at the back of the room, I found it. Eek. My gasp came out strangely like a bunny being choked. After all, after finding something like this, no one would be able to stop that kind of stupid voice from leaking out. It's here. It's really here. Father's gold. On the opposite side of the canopy bed, it was piled up in a massive heap. It was a mountain of gold ingots. Of course, they weren't piled up carelessly in a way that would damage the dignity of this room. A beautiful scarlet satin weave was laid on the mountain of gold, creating a beautiful three-colored mix between the red, the gold, and the black of the deep darkness. It was as though, when the witch slept on this bed, the gold would be a respectful chamberlain waiting on her. Nobly, refinedly. Is that the word? Refinedly? Refinedly? I don't know. Gracefully, beautifully. It was attentively piled there with an imposing air. When I tried to grab a single gold ingot, I was surprised at its weight. It's probably about 10 kilos. So this ingot would probably be worth more than 10 million. The Ushimura family crest, the one-winged eagle, was lightly imprinted on it. It was hard to tell whether it had worn away or whether the impression had been made carelessly in the first place, but it was certainly the crest of the one-winged eagle. Just how many ingots were piled up there? By doing a quick count here and there, and judging by the height, there had to be a few hundred at least. My mind's already gone blank, so I can't do the math well. Even a moderate guess would put it above several billion yen. Yeah, I guess the murder stopped now. That's right, of course. After all, it's 10 tons of gold, right? At the current value, that's more than 20 billion yen of gold. I found it. Before anyone else. I found it. Ha ha ha. In front of the mountain of gold, I spread my arms and looked up at the ceiling. A laugh without a trace of dignity flowed out from my entire body. I had no intention of laughing in a weird way, but I couldn't hold back the happy feeling that was flowing through me. My older brother probably wouldn't accept his loss just because I found this gold, but from now on, there would be no changing the fact that I'd been the one to find it. To steal away the headship of the family, some more subtle bargaining would probably still be required, but after everything I've gone through until now, that's a completely trivial problem. Even if I lose out the Ushimura family headship, I already have 20 billion yen worth of gold. How are you gonna get it off the island? How are you gonna bring tons of gold off the island? I mean, without someone noticing. At times, I've thought that money is such a worthless thing. I thought there were so many things in this world you can't buy with money. But now I see that's just a lie. Just an excuse that the have-nots make for themselves. No, I think most families don't have secret gold that they can find if they're really smart. I don't think that's how it works. In front of this mountain of gold, I finally realized something so obvious. By using this money, I can give birth to all the happiness in this world. With this money, my husband's company is already saved. We will always be happy as a family. You don't need the company. And I could even leave a vast sum of money to George. The rest of the relatives will eventually be ruined and disappear. At that time, George will use this gold, just like grandfather did, and will revive the Ushimura family's lost honor. George is the true successor to the Ushimura family. It happened. My wish was granted. That dream I've wished for ever since I was born into this world as Ushimura Eva has been granted completely at this very moment. Eva Goodend. My husband and I will be happy for all eternity, and I can also give my only son, George, eternal happiness. There's no way I'll waste it on foolish pleasures. My older brothers chew the Ushimura family to bits, but George and I will revive it. That means I truly have succeeded the Ushimura family headship. Good on you. I was successful. I did it, honey. And George, I, your mother, finally succeeded. No one will be able to threaten us now. That's right. After this, never again will we be smothered by sad nights. Congratulations, me. Congratulations, Ushimura Eva. Right here, right now, the sad half of her life will have its heart's desire granted. It's all thanks to you. It's just Ava's childhood hallucination again. I was given this chance because of your magic. Because of that chance, I was able to make it here. Thank you. But my magic wouldn't have been granted if we both didn't believe in each other. So it isn't just the power of my magic. This is our victory. Because of that, congratulations. Us. It's essentially childhood Ava before she gave up on her dreams. Pushing her forward again. Thank you, me. Thank you, Ushimura Eva. I'm glad I didn't give in before now. I'm glad that I didn't drown in sorrow and forget to keep struggling. No, this is my magic. Our magic. Your magic was the real thing. Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest, is nothing more than an illusion. You are the real witch, who wielder of real magic. That's right. Right now, you are the Golden Witch, Beatrice. I see this is the route where Ava develops her personality and goes a little bit mad. See, there's carbon monoxide problems down here in this basement. It's not aired out very well, you know. She's just losing some brain cells right now. She decided to leave for the time being. When she climbed the stairs again, trying to leave this secret place, she saw a creepy, swaying human shadow blocking her path, and her dreamlike state was blown away. Who is it? For an instant, she believed that the true master of this room, the real Beatrice, had appeared. It seemed the other person was also holding a gun. The two of them were pointing guns at each other, and eventually, they each realized who the other was. Rosa? Nei-san, what are you doing in a place like this? That's my line. What business do you have in such a place? I shouldn't have given you that hint, Nei-san. If I hadn't, I definitely would have been the first to reach this place. Too bad. It seemed that Rosa knew where the staircase went, and what was waiting ahead of her. You should talk, even though I reached this place before you. I don't worry too much about the Sweetfish River. The Sweetfish part didn't really matter that much at all, did it? That isn't true. It was an excellent hint, wasn't it? Well, of course, maybe there was no need for it to be Sweetfish, but when I heard that Sweetfish are fish that go out into the sea, I was able to figure it out. What's inside? Why not see with your own eyes? It definitely won't betray your expectations. Don't be afraid, Nason. I never had any interest in who becomes the head. I don't even care about the issue of the family name. Honestly, I actually feel good about you stealing the headship from Kraus Nissan, who was always swaggering around because of it. You're serious? Of course. I'm the outsider of the Ishimura siblings. Even if father had named these, then instead, there's no way Nissan would accept it. I try not to have such naive dreams. Let me see too, Nissan. This proof of your victory. As long as I receive the proper portion that the siblings agreed upon, I plan to proactively acknowledge you as the true victor in this game. If you shoot me, then you'll have this gold all to yourself, won't you? The same goes for you. If you shoot me, this gold will all be yours. They're both thinking about it. For a tense moment, the sisters pointed their guns at each other. Eventually, after they sized up the glint in the other's eyes, they lowered their guns. Ava removed her finger from the trigger and held the gun upside down. It was a position that she couldn't quickly shoot from. When she saw that, Rosa held hers the same way. That's right. My plan of shooting the other and having all the gold to ourselves is attractive for both of us. But if one of us suddenly disappeared on this island, was isolated by the typhoon, it would be a huge uproar. If we had the corpse here, it probably would be found easily, but we couldn't be sure. No matter how many billion yen worth of gold is on the line, it isn't worth the risk of committing murder. On the contrary, that would give Kraus Nissan and the others ammunition to ring us for all we're worth. I agree. It may have been a blessing in disguise that you're the one who showed up, instead of Nissan or Rudolph. You're the sibling I trust most. Thank you. You're the sibling I trust most, Nissan. An alliance. I want to see the gold too. Want to have a peek? Now I feel like seeing it again too. Even though I saw it with my own eyes, it still doesn't feel real. Unless I see it together with you and confirm once more that it actually exists, it feels like the gold will turn to fog and disappear. Ava started descending the staircase once more. However, she didn't curiously expose her back to Rosa. Even though, at a glance, it looked like Rosa had lowered her card, she definitely didn't show any signs of carelessness. Then they reached that room of the witch once more. Rosa also gasped, stunned speechless by the vast amount of gold. You got boogers. You got boogers, son. She got, like, snot on the top of her nose somehow. I don't know how she even did that. Rosa and Ava walked absent-mindedly through the rose garden. It's raining. Please go inside. They'd left the guest house secretly, so they had to be careful when they returned. It was time to snap to it and keep their guards up. Aren't they gonna think something's up if you come back soaking wet? Actually. Congratulations, Nason. Thank you. You decided it, didn't you, Nason? 50% goes to the one bearing the title of successor to the headship. It certainly worked out well for you. Now that portion is in Kraus Nissan's, so your share is now 50%, along with a quarter of the rest for a total of 12.5 billion yen. Isn't that incredible? 2.5 billion is enough for me. Good hope Nissan won't complain either. Kraus Nissan will probably be the only one to complain. Yeah, you're right. After all, Nissan's the de facto manager of Rakenja. And since the gold was on these premises, even though I was the first to discover it, things might get complicated if I don't handle it cleverly. It won't get complicated. Didn't we give it our all in that discussion last night with that in mind? I wonder if it'll really go that smoothly. I've already completely gotten over my excitement. How we manage everything from here on is the real problem. That's a problem for the new head of the Ishimura family. A problem for you to enjoy, Nason. It has nothing to do with me. Figure it out. That's some big talk coming from you. I'll support you as the second discoverer, if you'll at least give me the early payment we decided upon. I'd like 150 million yen by March. Yes, that'll be fine. If you support me, I'll graciously pay you that much. I'm not Nissan. Anyway, why don't we go back and shock Nissan and the others? Even if we cover the actual location, I want to see Kraus Nissan's shocked face as soon as I can. Wait a second, Rosa. Wait a while before telling everyone about it. Huh? Why? You idiot. Isn't it obvious? This is that haughty Kraus Nissan and that sly Rudolph we're talking about. Even if we do announce it eventually, it's certainly too early now. Once we carefully investigate how to make our next move, It's possible that all the gold we finally found will be snatched away by Nissan. Ava thought she was saying something extremely natural. So when she saw Rosa's expression suddenly cloud over, she was a little surprised. What are you unsatisfied about? You know what kind of person Kraus Nissan is. Nissan, that's against the rules. What do you mean? Didn't we make a rule that whoever found the gold would announce it immediately? If you hesitate, the foundation of the rules will be destroyed. That could lead to something worse in the future. With Kraus Nissan as crafty as he is, that violation of the rules will come back to bite you. Don't be stupid. This is Nissan's island, and that gold just now wasn't cash. We're talking about the liquidation of a vast 10-ton mountain, right? It'll take a significant amount of time to carry it off and turn it into cash. It'll only work in Nissan's favor, since he has practical control over this island. Don't you even realize that? I don't like it when you search out each other's weaknesses like that. All I want is to reach a clear decision regarding my 2.5 billion portion. Of course, if you were to give me 2.5 billion in cash right now, you'd be free to continue negotiating however you like. Until I have my share in my own pocket, I'll follow the siblings' rules. How can you be so naive? You don't understand Nissan's craftiness at all. It wasn't that Rosa didn't understand the craftiness of her older siblings. In that sense, Rosa more or less understood why Ava was being so cautious. But in her heart, she couldn't clear away her suspicion that Ava wanted to keep all the gold to herself. Because she knew that Ava was at least as crafty as her other siblings. In other words, Rosa wanted to put a stop to any chance Ava had to keep the gold all to herself, by quickly informing the siblings of the gold's discovery. Rosa, sorry, but at least listen to me this once. Are you saying that if you don't listen to what you say, you won't be able to get me that 150 million? That isn't the way I wanted to say it. But yes. But if you really need that money, supporting me is a more realistic option. If you talk to Nissan and Rudolph, even the portion that's your natural right might disappear. You don't want that, do you? That's definitely a threat. For a while, a severe expression that she'd never shown to her sister before rose to Rosa's face. There wasn't even a trace of her restraint as a younger sister. It was just the ruthlessness, the seriousness of a single human arguing with a vast sum of wealth. Eva made light of it, chuckling. My, how careless we must be to stand around here talking like this. Even though a frightful murder place has just taken case, and the culprit might still be on this island. I'm sure it was just the servants play acting. Is she stupid? Maybe she didn't see the bodies. There were no murders in this island in the first place. Oh? So you do think that after all? The circumstances surrounding those 6 deaths shows us that clearly. A crime from the outside couldn't possibly have created those 6 closed rooms. Dr. Najo said they were all dead, but that was a lie too. This is a complicated act that father cooked up. All the servants are just plain dead. The murder never occurred in the first place. There's no way that there's a murder prowling around. Everyone else is still in the guest house. I think they are going to be a bit suspicious that they're soaking wet. I don't know if that comes up, but it really should. Maybe they have umbrellas, and we just don't know because they didn't get mentioned. I'm surprised you noticed. You look pretty scared, so I didn't think you'd figure out so much. I'm good at reading the mood of a situation. I've got you to thank for training me so well. That's right. You want to think of it, now that the servants are dead, almost everyone on this island is a member of the Umineko family. As for Nanjo, he proclaimed the deaths of the servants, but when the relatives began to discuss the riddle of the epitaph, he disappeared off to the 2nd floor as if he didn't want to get in the way. All of it was an act to get us to try and solve the epitaph. And that's why you need to announce that you're the victor, Dae-san. There's no way that burnt corpse was really father. He got a corpse for the right number of toes from somewhere, and went to all the trouble of burning it that creepy way of his so we'd see it. I'm sure he's hiding somewhere, watching to see how he'll behave. I'll bet he already knows you reached the gold land, Dae-san. I mean, honestly, it's not any more unrealistic than the fact that 6 people just died, right? I feel like this isn't that unnatural a thing to jump to, actually. It sounds silly to us, because we know the truth, that's all. That's why you should announce that you're the winner soon. I'm sure Father will appear out of nowhere to applaud you and proclaim that you're his successor. Then again, I've still got to pester you for that 150 million, so I can't stand against you in any way. So you'll listen to what I say, and keep quiet about this to Nissan and the rest. Make your position clear, Rosa. I want to tell them, we made that rule just last night. We shouldn't just throw it away. Of course, I'll announce it in front of the siblings. However, I want to closely analyze the situation first. You got to carry out 10 tons of gold, convert it into money, and distribute it fairly. Until I have proof that I can do all that without Nissan getting in the way, I want some time to think. I only want to postpone my announcement until then. I'm certainly not keeping it secret because I want it all for myself. You'll definitely announce it to everyone sooner or later, right? Yes, of course. Even I want to rub it in Nissan's face as soon as I can. About how much time will you need to think? I won't know that until I've thought about it. Will one night be enough? I can't promise you that it'll take only one night. Out of respect for you, the successor, I'll support you for one night. This year's family conference will end tomorrow morning, when the typhoon passes and a boat comes to get us. That's right, when the seagulls cry. 3 VNs in a row. Going for a full bingo here. How long can we keep it up for? We'll remain silent until then. If you still feel that you need more time to think after that, then we'll cross that bridge when you get there, okay? I'll support your position to the best of my ability. You really are cunning, aren't you? Retro version instead of the modern version with the text boxes? Because this is the version on Steam. This is the PC version. I'm surprised. Were you always this resilient? I guess it's true that women become stronger when they have a child. I realized that in myself when I had Maria. Understood. For the time being, thanks for your cooperation. We can talk about tomorrow when it comes. Yes, that's right. I'm convinced that you'll become a fair-minded successor to the headship. One who'd never even consider taking all the gold for herself. Isn't that obvious? I'll split the gold evenly among the siblings. No way. I found it. Because we solved the riddle of the epitaph. So this gold is all mine. I won't give it up to anyone. I am the head of the Ushida family. I am. The witch inside Ava claimed exclusive possession in a loud voice. Of course, that didn't reach even close to Rosa's ears, and it probably didn't reach Ava's either. Indeed. I shall acknowledge it. You are the true head of the Ushida family, chosen by the witch's epitaph. Now, I acknowledge it on my name. You're that outfit. You couldn't actually be Beatrice? Maybe Beatrice was happy that Ava had called her by her own name. She cackled cheerfully. It's kind of complex how this works in with stuff. Just remember that if you see anything magic related, you're free to doubt it and put forth your own theory. In concert with that laugh, like Beatrice appearing here. Who knows who this actually is right now, right? Is this actually Beatrice? Is this someone else? You know, if they just teleport into the room like that with gold butterflies, we can suspect whatever we want. Battler wearing a wig. Yeah, and fake breasts. Gold butterflies crept up as though a storm of gold dust was spinning around the room, and the room shone the color of gold. Indeed, I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. There is no need to be so frightened. I'm praising your exploits. Truly excellent. Thinking about unreliable narrators is actually very important for Umineko. Definitely doubt most of the things that you see. There are rules behind who is and isn't reliable. They're actually extremely simple rules, but they don't get addressed for a while. I think around episode 5 or 6. Actually, I forget if they get addressed at all. But they become more important. Well, even more important. Imagine that you would spectacularly solve that riddle of the epitaph. It is worthy of my admiration. You're not the one who sent that letter? So I'll inherit all the gold in the Ushida family headship, right? Oh no, I said that you are the one who sent... Where did I get the knot from? You wrote that in your letter. And I overcame that challenge. Indeed. I shall acknowledge it. Right now, all the gold piled up here, and everything in the Ushida family, is for you to do with as you please. After all, from this moment on, you are already the Ushida family head. But really? It's true, right? Right? Do not be agitated. I'm openly praising you. As proof, I shall grant you this. Yeah, I've never really seen another story written like Umineko is. Beatrice took a ring off of her own finger and held it out to Ava. She fearfully accepted it, and realized that it was a ring. Could this be a ring? Indeed, this golden ring is proof of the Ushida family headship, returned to me from Kinzo. From now on, it is yours. You may place it on your finger and hold it high before your siblings. No one should doubt that you have now succeeded the Ushimura family headship. Eva stared closely at the ring. It certainly wasn't a fake. Without a doubt, it was the real thing. She dreamed of receiving this ring someday, focused on this day over and over again, and it was now finally a certainty. This ring had now designated her as the head, and had been handed over to her. And timidly, she put it on the middle finger of her left hand. The middle finger. Who does that? That's weird. I guess it's where Beatrice has it. In that instant, she felt the deep emotion welling up inside her that she'd never felt before. Her mind grew blank. Both eyes were opened. That ring was on her own finger. Not in a dream, but in reality. That ring is also pleased. After all, it managed to reach you, one who dreamed of putting it on their finger for so long. The ring. Father's ring. How many nights have you dreamed of putting that ring on your finger as you have done now? The strength of those feelings became your magic and materialized itself. Now you're worthy of calling yourself a great witch. Who are you? Are you really Beatrice? I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. You should be a family alchemist. In accordance with my contract with Kinzo, I will now pass everything on to you. All of the gold I entrusted Kinzo with, and all the wealth he built up through that, and the honor and headship of the Ushimura family, and I will pass on my power and the title of the Endless Witch. The title of the Witch. I will pass on all my magical power, and the titles of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. Following my predecessor's example, I will hand over my name, Beatrice, along with that title. You may now call yourself by that name. Eva gulped. The chandelier light, which had seemed dim, now felt too bright. By my name, I shall now commence the succession of the Golden Witch. Here it comes. Come on, it's not what I wanted to see. I want to see the other CG. The instant Beatrice made that proclamation, everything was buried by a golden sparkle, and changed into a majestic place that looked like an audience hall. In the audience hall, there was a crowd of Beatrice's minions and brethren, as well as countless gold butterflies celebrating this first succession ceremony in 1,000 years. When she looked, she saw Beatrice on the throne that only the Golden Witch was permitted to sit in, holding a golden staff, reigning with a dazzling dignity. Without being ordered by anyone, Eva automatically kneeled, hanging her head. Quotes. The attendant respectfully handed Beatrice a golden staff in the shape of a winged eagle. After Beatrice stood up and received that staff, she laid the tip of it on Eva's shoulder and spoke. It was a proclamation of 1,000 years in coming. But she admitted, Eva, you have spectacularly solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and reached the Golden Land. I praise that accomplishment, and hand over all the endless magic as well as the titles of the Golden Witch and the Endless Witch. From this point on, you may call yourself by my name, Beatrice. Come, raise your face, and stand and accept this staff. I am most grateful. Eva stood up dizzily and took the magic staff from Beatrice's hand. Her hand was trembling slightly. As soon as she grasped that staff, she was wrapped up in the brilliant sparkle of gold, as though gold butterflies were flying out from inside her. In the instant she succeeded the Golden Witch, Eva felt something in the depths of her soul be reborn. To describe it in a word, it was energy. Energy with a gold color. It felt like she was waking up, as though she'd been half asleep ever since she'd been born, and was opening her eyes for the first time. It felt as though her true eyes, inside her eyes, were open for the first time in her life. What does all this mean for the rest of the end, exactly? So you want to see this? Here you go. You are. Indeed, a fitting and beautiful outfit for the Golden Witch. Come on, come, you may show yourself to all these people. Let them know that the new witch is indeed you. Eva, no, the new Beatrice turned around timidly. When she did, the witch's minions, which filled the vast audience hall, honored her with an applause that sounded like the roaring of the sea. Come everyone, replace all the portraits with Beatrice with the new Beatrice. Lift up words of celebration for the new Beatrice. There we go, I was waiting for the portrait. The episode 3 portrait. It's one that I don't have on my wall. I don't have that one. I have the Beatrice portrait. Then I have some other portraits from like episodes 5 and 6 that are spoilers. I can't show you. But they would be pretty bad spoilers. New Beatrice. Congratulations on the success of the Golden Witch. I hope that you'll become able to stand on your own as a proud Golden Witch and as the Endless Witch. Yes, I will do my best. I expect the composure befitting the Endo switch from you, unlike your naughty predecessor. Ho 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 ho. Teacher, we're in the middle of a serious ceremony, so please, enough of that. Congratulations on the succession of the Golden Witch, new Beatrice-sama. I'm called Runabe. I'm one of the 72 demons permitted to serve the Golden Witch. If you are ever inconceived in the slightest, please let me know at once. Thank you. Runabe is rude but reliable. If anything confuses you in your new days as a witch, speak to this man, and he should be able to help you. Predecessor Beatrice-sama, it is a shame that I was not permitted to serve you further, even though we've finally been reunited like this. These last 1,000 years have been very entertaining for me. You have my deepest gratitude. Indeed, 1,000 years with you wasn't boring. Please take care of the new witch. Yes, I, Runabe, will obey the final order of the former Beatrice. You better thank me, okay? I gave my signature to recommend you for the succession of the witch, got it? In other words, if I hadn't signed, you wouldn't have been able to become a witch. So thank me a little, okay? This is the Witch of Certainty, Lady Lambda Delta. I guess you weren't here when Lambda Delta got introduced. She hasn't really mattered yet. She had a cameo at the end of episode 2, that's all. Lady Lambda Delta recommended you and became your guardian. Thank you. Hey, Beato, this kid isn't grateful enough. I think I'll take back that recommendation. Who number 3? A person making these recommendations shouldn't act like a child, right? If you've signed, make sure you take responsibility. Lady Lambda Delta is also the Witch of Certainty. The Witch of Certainty prefers to create a fate of certainty. She really liked and highly valued your efforts until today. Well, you had that unfortunate childhood. All that unrewarded effort. I can sympathize just a bit with that. It's not like I felt sorry for you or anything, so don't be so full of yourself. Soon, from my point of view, the succession, well, it was more a coincidence than a miracle. It isn't worthy of my recommendation. This is Lady Berncaster. She's quite hard to please. Still, you could say that just having her participate in the celebration makes you exceedingly lucky. I only came because this is a rare, once-in-a-millennium event, and I heard there'd be some good sake. There's going to be even more Higurashi-related stuff later. Around somewhere in the second half. I forget where they first show up. New Beatrice-sama, please, greet us as well. Huh? Oh, I'm pleased to meet you. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory were gathered in a line. The eldest sister, Lucifer, took a step forward and kneeled. This is furniture that serves me. The 7 Sisters are just the manifestations of the stakes that are used for the murders. That's all. As a gift to celebrate your inheritance, I will send them to you. Once you succeed the possession of the Golden Witch, you will need to carry out the resurrection ceremony for yourself. The 7 Sisters of Purgatory perform an essential role in that ceremony. They're a villainous bunch, but they serve their purpose. Have them do whatever you wish. We will always be by Beatrice-sama's side. Please order us to do anything we desire. We'll accomplish our tasks without fail. There's still going to be more new characters in episode 3, by the way. I think there's going to be 2 more? I want to say 2 more, yeah. No, 3. 3. There's still going to be 3 more characters in episode 3. Yeah. Yukari, Raisin, and Raisin. Even after that, many nobles and minions visited and offered words of congratulation for the new witch. As she responded to them confusedly, she felt as though she was growing lightheaded due to lack of oxygen. Eventually, you even get to meet a 3rd Raisin, but I don't think you get to see her until Tsubasa, which is like a novel that came out after episode 8. I know there's 4, but I don't think you ever see the 4th one. Maybe you see her in, whatever the other novel is called. Saku? She couldn't tell if this was something real or not. I do plan on reading those after, by the way. I don't think they're on Steam, but I'll read them. I'll make it happen somehow. But there was just one thing she could understand. A feeling of achievement of being permitted to call herself the Golden Witch. Are there translation patches for those? Oh, you can get Saku with a Switch? Cool. Is there like an official English translation for Saku yet? Let's check this real quick here. Let's see. Tsubasa, Hane, and then Saka. There's 3 more VNs after episode 8. But they're shorter. They're much shorter. Hold on, I gotta go to, like, the Umineko Wikipedia page real quick. Umineko's... Let's see. Umineko, they cry. Oh, I forgot there's also Our Confession. But I don't think that's an actual... Wait, episode 9? Is an episode 9 as well? What? Oh, I see. Okay, sorry. Episode 9 is part of Saku. Why? Why did I have to phrase it like this? Hold on. Does Saku come out in English? That's all I want to know here. Hold on. List of when they cry titles. Here we go. No, all 3 of them only have unofficial patches, assuming they have any at all. They've never done official English releases for Tsubasa, Hane, or Saku. I assume Saku has a translation by now, right? Otherwise, don't I translate that? No, it came out ages ago. Been out since 2022. I think. Maybe? Maybe even since 2021? Let's see. Seems like it. Anyway, it's a while. I'll have to look at that later and find out full details. But imagine me translating Umineko. I was prepared to translate Saku on stream if it wasn't translated, but as long as the translation's like regarded as good, I suppose even if it's unofficial, I'll use it. That'll be more accessible for everyone, after all. She couldn't tell if this was something real or unreal, but there was just one thing she could understand: feeling of achievement at being permitted to call herself the Golden Witch. That alone was a truth she could definitely understand. Beautiful. I should have got the other portraits. I'm missing a fair few of them. Look, the main character's here. What is all this? Of course, I'm not going to swallow this story. But what in the world does it mean? Aunt Ava's the new Beatrice? Are you saying she's turned into a witch? What the hell? I was also surprised to think that someone would be able to solve that riddle. However, that is the rule. I must follow and pass on the position of Golden Witch and my name. It is hardly something to be surprised about. At the very beginning, he wrote that rule in a letter and announced it. Eva-san was simply the first to be successful. That's all there is to say. Virgilia, are you there? Yes, here I am. What does this farce mean? Even if this depiction of strange witches showing up one after another is some other bullshit, isn't this almost like Aunt Eva turned into a witch? Calm yourself. She has simply received the title of Endos Witch, and might call herself that in the future. This succession ceremony is certainly nothing more than an act to promote that child's explanation. Don't fall for the same move over and over again. That's right. That whole grand ceremony was all phony. But if it's at least a fact that Aunt Eva solved the riddle of the epitaph, and at the same time, that means she's succeeded the issue of family headship. And after getting 10 tons of gold, Aunt Eva might as well call herself the Golden Witch. Is that it? Damn, it's as complicated as ever. My. Is a boorish human unable to comprehend the grandeur of the ceremony? Oh well, you can only read between the lines of what makes you human. I pity you, but I do not blame you. Damn it. Don't look at me like you feel sorry for me. Still, for the time being, there's something I need to check. And that's regarding this younger version of Aunt Eva. In other words, the definition of this new Beatrice. What is that? Even if I tell of it, you will just persist in your disbelief in magic and witches, correct? So there's nothing in particular for me to explain. Feel free to believe in whatever it seems to be to you. It seems to be to me? Then, how should I interpret this? For now, it might not hurt to view it as a visualization of a separate entity inside Ushimina Eva. Of course, you cannot blindly accept an answer, but it is probably a reasonable theory to hold for the time being. In other words, I should think of Aunt Eva and her as the same person, right? Damn, I don't like where this is going. In any case, from now on, my name is no longer Beatrice. I passed it on to Ushimi Eva, which means that I'm nameless. Adler, don't you have some name that'd be fitting for me? I shall accept your recommendation. How about a name that's refined, full of elegance, and a little cute too if you can? Just Beato's good enough for you. There's probably a big enough difference between Beato and Beatrice to keep people from getting confused. No way. So the same old Beato, is it? Doesn't feel wrong, but it's boring for some reason. They say the temperature of black tea in a woman's heart are difficult to gauge in any era. Battler-kun, at any rate, stay calm from this point onwards. The fact that we can now tell her and Ushimi Eva apart works to our advantage, compared to the time when that child was still Beatrice. I think we do need a live Beatrice counter. So we have Meta Beatrice. We have Beatrice when she appeared in, like, a skirt. So we have, like, in-universe Beatrice that was in the VIP room. We have the Beatrice that fell off the cliff and died. We have the Beatrice who supposedly gave birth to that Beatrice. We have Eva Beatrice. Is that 5, I think? Oh, also, we have old Beatrice, the predecessor. That's 6 Beatrices. So there you go. Live Beatrice counter. 6. It's at 6 right now. And that's exactly why I like it even less. What's she thinking? That Beato. Still going to keep going up, by the way. 6 is not where the Beatrice counter ends. Over there, the witches formed a long line to bless Aunt Eva, who had the figure of her younger days and who now possessed the name Beatrice. It was like a witch's coronation. The countless gold butterflies swept their wings, directing this fantastical gold sparkling space. They were all praising her. As I stared from the distance, I looked at the newly born Beatrice, with a slightly embarrassed smile on her face. Her expression, which had been lost and confused at first, there's honestly enough Beatrices to do all the Twilights without killing any of the actual family members. It seemed to be full of the happiness that she was finally starting to recognize. We already have enough for the first Twilight. That expression didn't look at all like someone laughing insanely while standing before the gold. It was just the innocence of a person basking in their own joy. As a person who denied the existence of witches, I couldn't view this witch succession ceremony with a joyful expression and accept her. However, when I looked at that innocent smile, I felt like I wanted to offer my blessings just for that moment. Hey now, be careful how many guesses you make at the plot. It's always beautiful when strong efforts bear fruits and are rewarded. Aunt Eva, who had always yearned to see the headship and who had worked hard since her youth without reward, had spectacularly taken hold of it. I think there's like at least 2 more Beatrices in episode 4. Had spectacularly taken hold of the chance given to her by the riddle of the epitaph and had finally gained that position. How divine is the smile of a person whose childhood dreams have been granted. I definitely won't accept the witches, but Battle put his hands together, making a small sound. Clap, clap. It didn't reach her ears, but it did bless her. Congratulations, Aunt Eva. You spectacularly solved the riddle of the epitaph before anyone else. It's your victory without any complaints. I'll not accept all that about the Golden Witch and so on, but I will accept you as the new head of the Ushimura family, and I'll celebrate that sincerely. As the words done by Bantler's applause, Beato also clapped. It was a slightly odd scene. Bantler and Beato, who opposed each other, were standing side by side and applauding the same person. I'm not applauding for a witch. I'm clapping for all of Aunt Eva's efforts up until now. As am I. I offer my sincere applause as a blessing to Eva, who spectacularly solved that epitaph. I don't like applauding with you. But, well, I've decided that I won't worry about it now. Divine punishment won't fall on me just because I clap with you every once in a while. It's not so bad every once in a while. Still, it is fun to applaud. Even though it's Eva who's successful and not me, for some reason, I'm starting to feel happy too. That's because blessing someone means the same thing as sympathizing and sharing with them. I see. Then I've even shared this irrational happy feeling with you. Since we are a pair of enemies trying to make each other surrender, it is an odd experience. Well, just for now, let's have a truce and clap, okay? Beato laughed impishly, playing around and applauding even louder, as though eagerly trying not to lose to Battler as she clapped. Battler went along with her and clapped even louder. Oh, what a cute couple. When he did, as though some ceremony had ended, everyone applauded and highly praised the reborn Beatrice. It was just as though Battler's and Beato's applause had been the final thing needed for a succession. Beautiful. was just a really long transition. There's a lot of those. I mean, presumably we're pretty close to the end of the episode, right? Because it typically ends at midnight. We're already at 10:30 p.m. It's fast. How much is going to happen in the last hour and a half, I wonder? Rosa returned to the lobby. It was still her turn to rest, but her expression made it look as though she couldn't sleep deeply with all this tension. Take it easy and lie down. Keep this up and you'll have it pretty rough later on. Thanks for the concern. I just couldn't fall asleep. I've already taken a shower, so I'm good for now. And this person can rest. What about you two, Kirie-san, Rudolph-san? What will we do, Rudolph-san? Shall we rest? You can rest. I'll stay awake. That's the only manly thing I can do right now. Then I'll stay awake. Staying awake with my husband is the only womanly thing I can do right now. Aw, Kitty is the best. You two truly are close. You should talk. It seems Abe and Hideyoshi-san are out cold. It appears that, unlike Rosa, they can't fight against their age. As though in response to those words, the door to the hall clunked open. Abe and Hideyoshi returned from the guest room. That's none of your business. Oh, Rosa, are you sure you don't need to rest yet? You should talk, Nae-san. Why not take it easy and sleep? I just can't get to sleep. Taking a shower shook my drowsiness off. So they did use the shower excuse. That's great. Rudolph, Kirie-san, you can rest if you want. Sure, thanks. Well, for now, let's say I appreciate the sentiment. Why don't you go first, Aniki? How kind of you, but I cannot rest first. That is the most I can do as the oldest brother right now. Do not worry, the two of us will stay awake until the very end. More importantly, Ebene-san, are you okay? You look a little pale. Come to think of it, you're right. Hmm? Could it be a bit of a fever? Hideyoshi put his hand up against Ava's forehead. It seemed that Ava wasn't really feeling her best. That goes without saying. That's what happens when you break your sleep cycle at your age. Is it a cold? Natsu, could you call Dr. Nanjo down? Yes. I'm fine. You don't have to make such a fuss over it. I have some medicine, so I'll be okay. I tend to get fevers when I'm tired. Don't worry. Nae-san, take it easy, okay? Thank you. If the siblings gathered without me around, I have a feeling everyone would start talking behind my back. It's a persecution complex from long ago. Sorry, okay? Well, I won't say anything. As if I'd say bad things about you behind your back, Nae-san. She's worried that Rosa's gonna spill the beans. What is it? Nae-san, you've been acting strange for a while. Shouldn't you get a little rest now? You're right. Just thinking about raising money by March makes my headache hurt even worse. That isn't good. Rest. And I'll hold back too, so that your headache doesn't get worse. I've had a bad headache myself for a while now. Thank you. Well then, I'll take those words to heart and rest for a while. What is it, Ava? Why so angry all of a sudden? Sorry, please let us rest a while longer. Sorry. After apologizing several times as though praying, Hideyoshi followed Ava out of the lobby. I don't like this atmosphere. It's all so strained. That's no surprise. There was a murder early this morning, and since then we've been eating canned food and carrying guns around. Oh wait, it's actually probably like still morning, isn't it? Yeah, it's probably like 10:30 a.m., not p.m. Duh. It's natural that we'd start to build up stress. I wonder if the kids up there are building up stress too. I'm worried about Maria. She tends to throw tantrums at times like this. At the moment, they heard the sound of wild footsteps coming from the second floor. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so they wouldn't normally have heard the sound of footsteps. It was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. And an instant later, accompanied by what seemed to be the sound of her running out into the second floor hallway, they could hear Maria calling "ooh, ooh, ooh" over and over again, sounding displeased. Rosa grabbed her head, her hair flying, and she voicelessly moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. The noisy clamor came down from the second floor and flew into the lobby. It was Maria who was sobbing, along with the other children in Nanjo. In other words, they had all come downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness at this new annoyance her daughter was bringing to everyone. Sorry, Aunt Rosa. We tried to calm her, but she just wouldn't listen. Ooh, ooh, wah. What is it, Maria? Would you be a little more quiet? Everyone's watching. It's that Rose of hers from the Rose Garden. She suddenly started saying that she was worried about it. I think she's half asleep. She suddenly woke up and started going on about how worried she was about that Rose. Alright, Chan, calm down. That was just a dream. Ooh, that Rose belonged to Beatrice and me. So if I don't take care of it, Beatrice is gonna get mad. It might get snapped off again. Ooh, ooh. I'm telling you to quiet down a bit, okay? The sudden rise in the tone of Rose's voice surprised the children. Maria's crying just grew louder, and her tantrum just grew fiercer. Rosa-san, you mustn't scold the child so unsparingly. At times like this, it's best to give them some warm milk or something. Is there any here? The milk we just had for breakfast is empty now. Doesn't anyone have a sedative to use on kids? You know, the silver pill things? I have some. Yes, I'll search for some now and give them to her. Oh my god. While they were hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed a handbag that had been set in soap and fished around for some medicine. And it seemed she'd brought some child-use sedatives. Don't call them sedatives. Is this a thing? Do people give medicine to children to get them to calm down? Child sedatives. Medications used to help ease anxiety and help the child relax. Uh-huh. Wow. I don't know. I just don't like the way this is being praised. I don't know. It's not something I've known of. I've never raised a kid, mind you. Maybe it's different if your kid has, you know, issues. I suppose. She found it and opened the bottle, but it must have been empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times, but that didn't change the fact that there was nothing in there. As she did that, Maria's crying grew even more intense. No, Mama, don't give me my sleepy pills. I want to see the rose. God. At that time, Ava was lying on her bed, covered by the bedding. I don't know what you give someone having a seizure. I think you just try to keep things safe around them and wait for the seizure to end. And I don't know what happens after that, actually. I think you just remove any hard objects. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, holding a handkerchief soaked in water. Ooh, this is one nasty fever. I'll bet it's the poisonous air at this family conference that got you. Now you can figure it all about the other relatives. Okay? As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set soaked handkerchief on Ava's burning forehead. Ava rested her hand on top of this. Your hand feels nice and cool. If my hand feels nice, your fever must be pretty bad. Don't worry, the medicine will start working soon. Plus, my hand is a magic hand. I just put it against your forehead like this, and any fever will melt right away. You're right, your hand always makes my fevers fade. Yep, no need for a doctor when you've got my hand. Don't worry and close your eyes. My magic will make that fever fade away. Yes, I know. I can feel your magic. Hideyoshi Beatrice. Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. If Pippa said she could feel magic coming from his hand, then that was fine for now. It was 50. Is she really that old? Jeez. I wonder if magic really exists. Yeah, it does. Only those who believe can tell. I think you might be getting confused, and I think I know why. I have to go on the weekend check something. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But are you sure you're not thinking of, you know? Because I know you've already read ahead. As in, you've just spoiled yourself completely. Let's see. No, I suppose you're right. No, you're right. No. You're correct. Ava is indeed 50 years old at the time of this. Okay. Yep. In case anyone's curious about the ages, Ava is 50. Kraus, the oldest, is 52. Rudolph. I'll bring up some ages just for curiosity. Rudolph is 40. And Rosa is 35. Any other ages people are curious about? I can bring up the cousins. I think it's already said Maria's 9, right? Yep, Maria's 9. Battler is... It doesn't say. Oh wait, hold on, I'm on the wrong page. Damn it. Whatever you do, don't go on the weekend, search Battler. Don't search up any... Stay up the weekend. Battler's 18. Jessica's probably 17? No, Jessica's 18 as well, but I think she's younger than Battler. And George is 23. Quite a bit older. Okay. I wonder if magic really exists. Yeah, it does. Only those who believe can tell, though. There's actually a lot of magic like that out there in the world. If magic actually exists, then I wonder if witches actually exist too. Oh? You mean that witch of the forest, Beatrice? She probably does exist for those who believe. Just like the gods. They don't show themselves except in front of those with strong faith. I did it too, you know. Long ago, I was able to use magic. Oh? Really? Then you were a witch too. I had dreams that I wanted to come true no matter what. After wishing strongly and trying hard, they always came true without fail. With my magic, my grades were always the best, and I even became the student council president. I had worked hard to get into the university I wanted. Everything I wished for was granted. That's right, your magic was always the thing to be reckoned with. You're definitely a witch, and you work harder than anyone. I know all about it. When I was a kid, the whole time, there was another me inside myself who always supported me. And the other self was a witch. I didn't believe in Beatrice, the witch of the forest. I just believed that if a witch or archangel did exist, it was the witch inside my heart. I was so grateful to that witch inside myself. I was always grateful that she brought me to you. You get too timid when you're sick. Don't say anything for now. I'll stay like this the whole time until your fever's gone down. Yes, don't take your hand away, no matter what. Somehow, I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself. And I've been scared for a while now. I get the feeling that the witch inside me was provoked by Beatrice and is growing stronger and stronger. Somehow, it feels like she's going to swallow me whole. It's okay. As long as I'm with you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Remember the time we went to that dangerous country and the whole bus got robbed? I drove them off. You just hand over your gold watch and beg them to go away. It's pretty lame, but it was cool. Don't move your hand away, no matter what. Not even if I fall asleep. If something creepy sneaks in here, protect me. Yep, leave it to me. That's why I'm telling you to stop worrying and get to sleep. Because the medicine and my magic will start working real soon. Eva finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. Okay. I want to, let's see here. Check something real quick here. So, there is a scene coming up. It's a pretty good scene. Essentially, I want to get some feedback here. Okay, running a poll. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go pee, and I'm gonna heat up some coffee too. Poll's gonna run for 3 minutes. Here be. No, you can't vote for JTD. Okay, I'm restocked. Second Twilight it is then. Just give me a second here to prepare my refreshments. Yep, the Prism Rivers are some of my favorites. Prism Rivers, Patchley, Yoshika are some of my top favorite characters. I don't really know why the Prism Rivers appeal to me. It's weird because, like, you know, they don't actually really feature that much. But there's just something I like about them. Their music, their design, their musical theming. And Patchley's grown on me over the years because I keep translating Patchley games. Incidentally, I swear I don't seek out games that have Patchley in them. But I translated Moyashi. I translated Shitty Trial. It's not out yet, but actually has a decent role in Alice and the Dollhouse in a Dream as well. You know, she just keeps on coming up. If a game is Patchley, it's probably a pretty good game. Oh, and I wanted to translate Amapani, but I haven't heard from the dev in quite a while, so that's probably not going to happen. But Desuno does his own thing. I don't want to bug him. Felt like he wasn't really that interested, even though he said yes to that. And the game's Alice the Dollhouse in a Dream is a pretty serious story, actually, real. You just haven't played it yet. I'm considering, but the current state of that game is I'm still waiting on the dev to like do the final update to the game, so I can translate the whole thing instead of translating it, then have the update come out translating that. It's gonna add like the final post-game story section. But I'm almost kind of considering like if I can wrap up some of my other projects, just playing through the game on stream and reading out my like tentative script as I go, because I already have like the whole story translated. It's not finalized, it's not like line wrapped or anything like that. I might have to dig around a bit in my files to like, I might have to dig around like a long script essentially, because it's just like an exported RPG Maker script with like translations below each line, basically. So it's kind of hard to navigate, but still. It's sad that like people don't know about the game and they've probably forgotten about it because it's been so long since I've announced it and it's taking a while for the devs to finish things up. I assume like real life issues or something must be getting in the way. I don't know, because I think it was pretty far along. I haven't asked anything of them in a few months because I've been busy with Devil Declining Labyrinth, so as much as I don't like to put it like this, it's better for me right now if I don't suddenly have another decently sized RPG on my plate. It's way smaller than those games, don't get me wrong, and I've already translated a big bulk of it, but still, still. Okay. At that time, there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. Oh, hold on, let me just get my mic again. Yep. Okay. It seemed that Mari was having a tantrum, and screams of ooh ooh could be heard along with Rosa's rebuking yells. Oh. It's a nice thing to see when I pause the game. On that note, do we have... There she is. Ava Beatrice. She's known as Ava Beatrice, by the way. Solved the riddle of the witch's epitaph and was welcomed as the new endless witch. She was gifted with an aptitude for magic and is expected to grow into an extraordinary golden witch. Great witch. I can't read. This genius of a witch often overindulged in her own power during her younger days. Such are the trials only geniuses may endure, and if she proves successful, her name will surely be engraved in the history of endless witches. Will she be able to overcome the trials that forced her predecessor to surrender? Whoa, that dress is big. You really can't tell from the portrait. I believe it. I don't know if it's like in all caps or if it's in katakana, actually. I can check. Oh, I suppose I could just check here, couldn't I, actually? It's just in katakana instead of kanji, because normally Ava's name is in kanji, even though it's like a Western name in a sense. So I guess that's why they did it. Yep. Okay. Ooh. That probably hurt Ava's ears. Or maybe it was giving her a headache. Ava moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Mari had probably had a tantrum for some reason, gone down to the lobby, and started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then, maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Mari out into the corridor. Yeah, it is actually exactly like that situation real. Absolutely is, yeah. Did you mention it? Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Mari's problem, but just for now, since Ava's condition was so bad, he wanted them to take the ruckus somewhere else. Wait just a sec. I'll ask them to keep it down. Come back quickly. Don't worry, I won't leave this room. Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's gaze. Everything okay, Rosa-san? I'm sorry, did all this noise wake you? Ooh. Ooh. Maria-chan, sorry. Auntie wasn't feeling well, and she's trying to sleep. Could you quiet down a bit? Mari's tone didn't change after Hideyoshi's request. She kept crying, ooh, and repeating, my rose, my rose. Rosa slapped Mari's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her towards the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. Okay. Here we go again. Here's the child of each section. Oh, hi. She would still probably be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Knowing on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door. Is Mario-chan having a tantrum again? Looks like it. It's tough for Rosa-san, too. When you think of it, our George is almost too good to be true. We should be grateful. You're right. Hand. Oh, sorry. Look, it's the magic hand. He put his hand on Ava's forehead again. Maybe there really was magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Ava's face, and bit by bit, she began to drift off into the light of sleep. As he promised, Hideyoshi capped his hand on her forehead. By the entrance, with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss as to what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand her own gazes in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs, dashing out of the lobby. Then, she'd gone out to the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should I go now? Where should I take this child who's having a tantrum? She felt as though tears of frustration were about to come out. As Mari kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Mari's ear, tried to persuade Mari in a properly calm voice. Maria, do you really want to see the rose that much? Maria nodded her head several times, moaning, ooh. Why do you want to see it so much? I'll listen as your mother, so will you tell me quietly? I'll hit you if you scream. My rose. Beatrice revived it. It might have snapped off again. I'm worried about that. I can't sleep until I'm sure. Apparently, she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again, but she was at least a little relieved that Moria had now stopped her screaming. To be fair, childcare was a bit different back in the day. You know, these days I think it's like frowned upon to even spank your child, but I got spanked as a kid. I was born in 1992 though, which was a little bit after this, but not really off by that far. I still think it's way too far just to be slapping your child across the face like this. Don't get me wrong, I'm not defending Rosa. Absolutely not. I'm not going to defend Rosa. But I just want to bring up all points here. Devil's proof, devil's advocate. Anyway, everyone is having a hard time right now, so don't bother Mama and everyone else. You can worry about the rose all you want tomorrow when it stops raining. So for now, listen to me. No. No. It's my Beatrice's rose. Ooh. Wah. Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized that it was partly her own fault, and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. It's a shame because Rosa has a bunch of good scenes, but then every time she interacts with her daughter, it strikes every good scene right out. Like, I liked the interaction with her and Ava before. That was pretty good. I guess the scene at the end of episode 2 with the gun was cool. Sure. I guess Mario was in that one, technically. But Mario thought that was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer. Please, just be quiet. What can I do to make you stop crying? What should I do to make you listen to what your mama says? Suddenly, Mario stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered, If I get to see my rose, I'll stay quiet until tomorrow. Really? Yes. If we go to the rose garden and see my rose, I'll calm down. I mean it, Mama. If it would keep Moria quiet for the time being, Rosa thought that even going out into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. I think it was animated in the anime, yeah. Pretty sure it got featured there. There's some scenes that get skipped, but that scene was there in its entirety. She thought it might be a bit reckless, but in the end, no murder or anything of the sort actually occurred. All that clamor since this morning had been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you carefully thought about that chain of closed rooms, it clearly had to all be an act. Will you really listen if you get to see the rose? Yes. I mean it, Mama. Hehehe. Everyone in this game has an alternate personality. Ouch. Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh and lightly hit Mario with her fist. I think that's saying like she did like a little head bonk. Instead of like punching her daughter. I have to bring it up because wouldn't put it past her, right? And she shrugged as though giving up. Understood. If it's just one look, then I'll agree. Will that work? Yes, Mama. I promise. Hehehe. Once again, Rosa tested the weight of her gun. It'll be okay. It's only an act. There was never a murder in this island in the first place. Real, it's okay. The mansion's far enough away that the chunks aren't loaded. Damn it. Wait, Aunt Rosa. Aunt Rosa and Mario, the sacrifices for the second Twilight? Damn it. Someone noticed them. Tell them to stop. What are those guys in the living room and us kids doing? Indeed, they are being considerate of Rosa's pitiful relationship with her daughter, and are forcibly changing the subject. The group that includes you went up to the second floor, and is talking about something else watching TV. You bastards! Someone noticed them. Who's the closest? Is it Uncle Hideyoshi? Please, notice that these two are leaving through the front door. It won't reach. Don't disturb their precious time together. Wahaha. The servants' bodies are just still there. They're keeping them there, untouched for the police. Hideyoshi kept talking kindly, his hand on Ava's forehead. He didn't notice at all that Rosa and Mario were going outside through the front door. In that case, there was no way the others in the lobby, which was even further away, would notice. Much less those in the cousin room on the second floor. Why are you so panicked? Didn't you defeat me with that bold move, saying that the culprit died in an accident in the first Twilight? Doesn't that mean there's no longer a culprit on this island? What is there to be so worried about? Shut up. I can see right through you. Someone stop them. Those two will be killed. Someone stop them. Ah. I mean, what do you mean check the bodies? They already found all 6 bodies. They found, like, the keys and the envelopes and stuff. Also, I gotta point out, those who are close. Nah, it's okay. Rosa and Maria can't be the sacrifices. They don't have a close relationship. There was no way that Battler's voiceless scream would reach Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but fortunately the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate, because maybe, if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa might have hesitated to go outside. Ooh, here it is. Maria found a rose with a gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Checking the bodies. I don't think they care. I think they're just assuming that's the case, and so they're not really worried at all. They're just not concerned. They have their own problems. They're more concerned with the gold, I think. Rosa had accepted the promise under the condition that Maria would only get one look at it, but she didn't want Maria to complain that it hadn't been enough later on, so she decided to go along with Maria until she was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit. See? One of the options that she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realized that faintly herself. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. After glancing at Maria's innocent happiness, Rosa gazed wearily in all directions. Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden. The only one that checked the bodies was Dr. Nanjo. He said they were all dead, so they're just going off that. So as long as he's telling the truth. Gold colored? It had to be her imagination. Because to Rosa, it seemed as though gold butterflies were dancing through the rose bushes. Nah, couldn't be. Couldn't be. Are you okay, Eva? Just take it easy. Should I call Dr. Nanjo after all? I'm fine. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you, don't take your hand away. Eva was breathing wildly. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. It certainly was true that she'd stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up. Even though he understood that, Hideyoshi suspected that this sudden fever was the sign of some serious illness. Several times, Hideyoshi decided to call for Dr. Nanjo, but Eva resisted firmly, pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away. I understand, but you've got to have Dr. Nanjo look at you by lunchtime. If you can promise me that, I'll stay here the whole time, gripping your hand. Slightly, like this. Thank you. I'm fine. The magic of your hand will definitely take this fever away. Even as she said that, Eva's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest. Don't let go. Don't let go. Eva's suffering. Very suddenly, too. But who is it? She saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rosebush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted her gun. When she did, the shadow of a person beyond the bush showed itself. Ooh? Aunt Eva. Hmm? You scared me. It's you, Nason? You have some business with me? You want to continue our earlier discussion? Yes, that's right. Our discussion about Father's gold. Please, restrain yourself in front of Maria. I'll keep my promise, okay? I won't get in the way of your conspiracy. Conspiracy? What's that? Whatever you're thinking, that's up to you. I have no desire to get in the way. But please, not in front of Maria. As long as I get my share, that'll be enough. Your share? Eva started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria said just one thing. Who? Auntie, who are you? Your share? Who would give that to you? All of that is mine. It all belongs to me, the Golden Witch Beatrice. Beatrice. Wah. Eva, are you okay, Eva? Eva. Eva. Hold on. Don't let go. Don't let me be dragged away by someone who isn't me. Hold on to my hand. Don't let go. When did you ever work hard? You never worked hard for anything. You were always hiding in our shadows. You always escaped from shadow to shadow without fighting. And yet, you really think yourself qualified to make demands of me over the Ushimura family gold? All of that is mine. It's all mine alone as the head of the Ushimura family and the new Golden Witch, successor to the name of Beatrice. Beatrice. It's Beatrice! Mama, Beatrice! Moria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Moria cold-heartedly. Yeah, you could end the sentence there. And raised her gun high. Hey, you're Nason, right? You are Nason, aren't you? Wrong. I'm no longer the one who was your sister. Then who are you? Are you trying to say that you're Beatrice? That's impossible. You died 19 years ago. Yes, you were definitely dead. After all, I clearly saw how your head was split open. I can remember the insides falling out like it was yesterday. How can you be alive and here right now? The concept of death does not exist to a Golden Witch. The Golden Witch in the name of Beatrice will be handed down for all eternity. Maybe the Beatrice you knew met with death, but that name is mine now, and therefore it's eternal. The concept of death does not exist for Beatrice. All I can see is that the gold has driven you mad. How pitiful, Nason. Come on, you know I'm not your sister anymore. Well then, as the new Beatrice, I have been tasked with my own resurrection ceremony. Ronabe, what should I do? That is up to you. You already have the power to make whatever you think reality. You should grow used to it once you've tried it out a little. You worthless former sister. You should consider it an honor to have been selected as the first sacrifice I offer as a witch. On the second twilight, I'll tear the two who are close apart with my own hands. Not really sure why there's a need to. The first thing the new Beatrice wished for? No, the first magic she tried to use was to surpass the limitations given to humans, in particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of a transformation to a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and Rosa stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself into the distance below them. But now, their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Rosa finally realized that the earth wasn't retreating into the distance below them, but that she and the witch were being sucked up into the rainy sky. Huh? Eek! Whoa, awesome! For a human shackled to the ground by gravity, there's nothing more unnerving than having their feet stop sticking to the ground. However, to Beatrice, who, in becoming the new witch, had learned the joy of being released from gravity, it was enough to make her whole body shake with delight. Hey Rosa, you remember, long ago, when we were small, when we used to talk about what it'd be like to become witches and fly around the sky? That dream has been granted, hasn't it? I became a real witch and granted it for you. Stop it. If this is a dream, then wake me up. You said it yourself. You said you flew through the sky in your dream. You also said you didn't want to wake up. You even got mad at me when I woke you up, right? Don't worry. This time, you won't wake up, okay? It must be weird for Battler watching... Well, you know, one of his own relatives do it this time. But hey, at least he knows who the killer is, right? Hey, yeah. It's okay, he sees to do it. Surely he can explain it. Come, dance with me in the vast rainy sky. Did we both wish we could fly like seagulls in the sky? And escape the cramped and boring island of Rakenjima? Now I'll make that dream a reality for you. I only want to share this joy with you and no one else. It's so fun, Rosa. It's so fun. Take a look below you. Look at how small our mansion is. I wonder how much time we spent in a place that small. Now I'm especially shocked at how cramped and tiny it is. So feel, enjoy, rejoice. That power we yearn for. The power to move through the sky at will. Come on, let's dance, Rosa. Through the rain, through the wind. Let's fly around like we're dancing. The lightning will shine on us and bless us. The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around in a whirlwind. As the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the lightning occasionally shone upon them, they shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding onto her head, voicelessly screaming over and over. Stop it. Forgive me, let me down. You're right, it's more fitting for humans to crawl on the ground. Then why not go back there? A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face when she realized that her own joy was not being shared. Then, she decided to listen to her former sister's request. Ta! The whirlwind that had been making Rosa dance around grew weaker, then stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity as a human. Following the laws that were originally correct, Rosa began to descend towards the ground upside down. No, she began to fall. Oops. That's right, if I don't take her down the right way, this is what happens. The witch hadn't intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rosebush, as a very, very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she wished that Rosa hadn't died. When she did, gold butterflies coiled about Rosa's body, reviving that life just as the witch had wished. Rosa's body, which should have been spread out like a carpet of crushed blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it is to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible, Rim proves that they've surpassed humanity. This surely gave her a much, much greater realization of her position as the witch than flying through the sky had. It's not really jolly music, honestly. It maybe sounds like that at first, but that's very much what Umineko is. This is anything but jolly music. Awesome, I can either revive an ended life. Of course, Beatrice-sama is the endless witch. To live and to die, to bring to life and to kill, all of it repeated endlessly. Beatrice-sama, the endless witch, is the queen who controls the cycle of life and death. One time, I knocked over a fishbowl. A fragile and beautiful bowl broke, and I couldn't put it back together again. I'd never see that cute pop-eyed goldfish swim again after it landed on the floor. No matter how much I cried, the servants shook their heads, saying that broken things and dead things could never be revived. That's when I learned something. You must not break things, you must not kill people. After all, you can't fix them. So, if you can fix them, then you won't get in trouble for breaking them, right? Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Cool. Cool. For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she had inherited was. Her life was pure, innocent, and cruel. Ooh, oh. Even though Rose had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish for that pain from her fall. At that point, the witch landed and held out her hand. Sorry about that, Rosa. I didn't think flying in the sky would be so much fun. Sorry, I'm real sorry. I didn't know humans could die so easily. But I brought you back to life, so we're even. So get up, okay? Play with me some more, okay? What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead and tell me all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. Even drowning you in a sea of jelly. Even having you get sucked into a mountain of cake. I can even now make you sprout butterfly wings and flit around the garden, okay? I'll do them one after another. Let's start with the ocean of jelly, alright? Stop it. Ooh. Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared, and the ground spread out beneath her was like a pastel-colored jigsaw puzzle. It was an ocean of jelly, like the one she'd spoken of in her dreams when she was young. The black part was coffee jelly, the red was strawberry, the yellow was pineapple, and the green was melon. What was the white part? Apple? Did Rosa even have the time to think of stuff like that? Rosa felt towards that multicolored ocean. I'm so glad that we know the flavors. And she sunk deep into a purple grape-flavored sea. It really was an ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see a school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. Swedish fish. They were probably made of grape skin. But she sunk on and on, deeper and deeper, as deep as the Marianas Trench, crushed by the water pressure of the jelly ocean, as her ribs snapped and as her spine snapped. In the end, she became a small, frail meatball. Okay. That's different from drowning. What a truly wonderful experience to drown in an ocean of jelly. It's a dream no one else can imitate. I made it come true for you. Yeah. I'm not sure. Is it Mariana or Marianas? I'm not sure, actually. I thought it was kind of weird, too. I thought it was Mariana as well. Didn't say anything. Yeah, it's Mariana. It's not Marianas. The typo, I guess. The instant I snapped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. And after being wrapped up in a golden sparkle, she returned to her original form. It was as simple and as easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form, and anyone could do it. If they were a witch. That absent-minded look on Rosa's face has to be the joy from having that dream she gave up on as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mountain of cake. In an instant, the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of a chessboard. The almost transparent white part was her favorite rare cheesecake, The elegant black part was slightly bitter, like a towel of chocolate. That became the ceiling, became a mountain, and several billion cakes were thrown down towards Rosa. That's several billion cakes, and that's terrible. If you piled those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed, I'm not too sure, but I'll bet it was heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. It fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up, so it was a very, very natural result. Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke throughout her body, and her insides were all smashed and forced out. Swish, pop, slop. Even so, an even greater number of cakes piled up on top. Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. She became as thin as a single hair, and was probably spread out over the area of a tennis court. That world swallowed up by cake was once again absorbed by a gold flash. Still not done. Then, as though it had all been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She'd been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they're born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she'd gone through that which humans cannot. The precious experience of dying more than once. That's not precious. No one wants that. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Next is the butterflies. Look. Please, have mercy. No way. Let's play more. Let's play more. Yeah, this isn't the only Rosa torture scene I can think of, actually. Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa as she begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and rapidly began to shrink. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly. Then her wings spread and hung back, and she joined her fellow little butterflies. I feel like this part with the butterflies doesn't happen in the anime. I forget. I know there are some parts of scenes that got cut out just because of like length issues, I think, in the anime. Maybe this was one of them. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind, and she spun in circles around the rose garden. No. As her dance wore out, she was caught by a gentle bed. There was a soft, nice hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. Yeah, I don't think it was. I don't know. The owner of that hammock lumbered into view. I think it's a spider. Welcoming through a guest who wandered in on the night of the storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa. Yeah. What a klutz, you got caught in a spider's web. This time it's a dance with a spider. That takes me back. Remember the times we'd find a spider's web and play around by throwing pebbles at it? I've heard that spiders don't chew their prey, but insert the venom, and when the insides melt into a sticky soup, they suck them out. Hey Rosa, remember how we'd throw butterflies in the spider's web on purpose, and play around by seeing how the spider would attack? Wow, that's horrible. Yeah, I guess you don't remember, do you? This happened before you got into grade school. Make sure you watch closely this time, okay? Very closely. Have mercy, Nei-san. Help me, Nei-san. I don't think so. Eek. I'm not gonna try to read any of that. You bull. This girl's not bad. She truly can use magic at will. Amusing. How truly amusing. You feel like laughing too, right, Battler? Don't fuck with me. Stop it already. What's so fun? You're insane. What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having a blast? What do you expect? Magic is fun. I remember when I first became able to use magic, I played around a lot. I understand that kind of game from the bottom of my heart. Looks like I won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, Battler. What a shame. If you accept me, I'll teach you magic anytime you want, see? It's hard to describe the joy you receive in the instant you're freed from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it, that joy, that passion. I'd definitely like to see the world of magic you'd give birth to, just once. Isn't this starting to get fun? You've started wanting to use magic, haven't you? It's pretty fun to be a witch, isn't it? Just for you, I'll teach everything. About the joy of flying together in the sky. About the joy of diving together through the sea. I want to show you the passion that starts the instant you surpass the bounds of humans and see how wide your world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun? There was no malice in Vieto's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cruel show, and she wanted to share that appreciation with Battler. Battler was shocked by the hopelessly different sense of values. You're insane. Stop it already, damn it. Virgilia, make them stop this insane farce. What should I do? made to step outside the board. We could not touch the board itself. Regalia shook her head apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Does that mean she couldn't interfere in any way? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Battler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Quit messing around, witch. Are you trying to tell me that's Aunt Ava? That's impossible. The Aunt Ava I know might be a bit mean at times, but it's completely impossible that she's the kind of person who'd do something this cruel. This is all part of your deception. Don't toy with Aunt Rosa. Don't toy with Aunt Ava. Stop this farce right now. I told you, I'm not the one playing with Rosa anymore. Like I said, that's the new Beatrice. Is it really so terrible that you have to squeal like that? You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic, and... Ouch. What are you doing? For the first time, Battler slapped Beatrice's cheek. Beatrice didn't know why he'd done something like that to her, and a surprised expression rose to her face. Battler especially couldn't forgive that expression, and he roared. Ah? You call this amusing? What's wrong with your head? Die. Go slice your head to bits and look inside. You'll see there's nothing there. Stop it right now. Stop this disgusting farce. I won't forgive you. How could you do something so cruel? I've sometimes thought you could be a bit funny, but I'll never make that mistake again. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk with you. I don't even want to look at your face. Did you hear me? Don't show yourself in front of me. Disappear! Battler is pissed. Beatrice is surprisingly shocked. No way, I killed this guy's entire family twice, and I'm in the process of having it done a third time and making him watch? And he hates me? The instant Battler screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Beato back onto her butt. Oh, what are you talking about? Isn't this an interesting show? She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Battler, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beatrice looked disappointed, displeased, and continued trying to explain herself. It's not as though I'm completely blind to where you're coming from, but this is nothing more than an innocent prank, isn't it? This line, it's not as though I'm completely blind to where you're coming from, really is funny. No matter how you kill them, they'll always be brought back to life in the end, right? I thought humans were creatures who say, all's well that ends well. Hey, teacher, there was no reason for him to get so angry, right? She was hoping for approval, but Gilead simply faced her with an indifferent expression. If Beato at that moment, even exasperated look, would probably have been better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I'll vanish until then. She'll cease to exist until then. Following Battler's lead, Regalia vanished into the darkness. Beato, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt that they were making her out to be the bad guy. She is the bad guy. What's wrong? Isn't it an amusing show? Isn't this amusing? It might be a bit vulgar, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Hey, Ronave, it's nothing to get so mad about, right? Cuckoo. Something interesting for you, my lady. It may not necessarily be interesting for Battler-sama. Does he really hate me that much? Well, certainly, we are enemies and opponents in this competition, but is a relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at this play? Since I plotted together with Battler, I thought I could at least laugh together with him. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept that I'm a witch. We're challenging each other in this game, after all. And yet, he won't look at my face, he won't talk to me, and he'll probably do all he can to ignore me. Am I really hated that much? The moves you've made up until this point have been more than enough to earn his hatred. Even a demon such as myself can understand a bit about Battler-sama's feelings. Perhaps you cannot understand because you are especially thick-headed, my lady. Cuckoo. Shut up. Why don't you disappear too? Yes, certainly. Then, if you would excuse me. Even Ronave hid himself in the darkness, and Beatrice was left alone. The only one in this rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with the lonely witch. And the fact that no one ever does is what makes them a lonely witch. What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird, that cruel? Someone answer me. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? Hey, how should we play next? Of course, we should play with Maria too, right? Let's all have a friendly walk together, okay? Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate. Let's have a picnic at a cake-rising oven. Ah ha ha. Yeah, that was just like sulking in like another dimension or something. He's not really leaving. Hey, new Beatrice. Behind the witch that was continuing her mad banquet, Beatrice showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow unrestrained, unreliable, miserable. Oh, it's the predecessor Beatrice-sama. Were you watching? The power of magic is truly wonderful. Until now, I never thought it'd be so fun to be reborn as a witch. It's like playtime that never ends. Come on, let's play together, predecessor-sama. First, wait for a second, okay? I cooked them to death in an oven, so I had to revive them again. They're like bread rising from yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven. But listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough? The sacrifice of the second twilight. Of course, there are no rules regarding how you kill them, but, maybe you shouldn't play with them any more than that. What are you saying, predecessor-sama? I heard from Ronove a short while ago. Wasn't your magic much more wonderful, cruel, and crazy? That Halloween party where candies poured out of 6 people's stomachs was truly wonderful. So maybe I'll act out Dallas's tea party. I'll invite everyone to a tea party in celebration of a completely pointless day, and entertain them one by one with my magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be cruel in my own pop-cute style. Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? Now that I'm a witch inside of one of those fairy tales, I finally understand. I have also, sometimes thought that, in the past, I might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that is the Golden Witch. It's almost definitely just because she says it in katakana. It does that pretty often. Oh, shit. Game. Yep. Oh, it's just in katakana. Avery, that is not a place you can jump to. Hold on. Yeah. Come on. What? Shelf is not pretty. Playfully devilish. I don't get what you're saying, predecessor-sama. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I'm no match for how cruel you are. I've got to try much harder. I've got to become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch. Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is an order from me as your predecessor. That's enough for the second twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch. Yes, predecessor-sama. I can't wait to see what brutal, cruel, and disgusting method of killing you use. The new witch grafted the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow. You know, you keep on hitting home with this. Maybe there's a cat witch later on. Maybe there is. Stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Well, speaking of that, you only have a witch you can only kill with methods like that. I shall show you an elegant way to kill, worthy of the Golden Witch. Okay. When Beato waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. It didn't even mention that Maria died a single time. I guess... Oh, right. I guess they got cooked in the oven off screen. Right. Remember I had a new Beatrice had done it a short while ago. It was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Beato had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths. Even so, she pleaded that her daughter be spared. Please, have mercy. Even if it's just Maria, have mercy. Mama. Sorry, my disciple just, acted without restraint for a bit. Forgive me. Beatrice. When Maria realized it was the real Beatrice, she jumped onto her. You promised, right, Beato? You promised you'd take me to the Golden Land, right? There, I'll be friendly with Mama, and everyone will laugh together. You promised you'd take me there, right? About that, I can no longer keep that promise. Because someone appeared who could solve the riddle, I am no longer the Golden Witch, Beatrice. So, sorry, I can no longer keep my promise with you. Why? Why? You promised. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. So at least, an apology for not being able to keep my promise. I'll give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again. Beato embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Then, softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. It's the same kind of thing that Genji did before, basically. Its redness grew bit by bit, and when it distinctly formed itself into the shape of a hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she'd fallen asleep. But Mario! Sorry, I won't apologize that you were the sacrifices for the second twilight. That is simply your fate. However, I must apologize for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This does seem to be a turning point for Beatrice. It's interesting. This is your final sleep. Never again will be disturbed. Rosa doesn't get it quite as nice, though. Rosa, Beato softly, gently lifted her finger as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then, Rosa's body floated softly, and right there was the garden fence with its spear-shaped prongs. This right here is, like, probably one of the hardest parts to watch in the anime. Actually. Even though it's heavily censored. It's... She, like, falls from the sky and gets her head impaled on the fence. It's hard to watch. The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongata, benevolently without toying with her in a single blow. Rosa's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. It just looked like a doll, shaped like Rosa, was leaning against the fence. But she had passed away. She had extremely passed away. Well, something like that should do the trick. Beato acted proud, but the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud. It's kind of plain. Not at all like the predecessor Sama Runabe told me about. Well, you must use magic with dignity, right? If it's too, undignified, that isn't very elegant. Even though you're lucky enough to have the magic to do wonderful things endlessly. How boring. Hey, don't complain. The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You are still incomplete until you finish the 10th Twilight. For now, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Got it? But what happened to your answer? Your answer? Sure. Very well, that will do. Well, there's still much to do for the resurrection ceremony. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much, with beauty and dignity, and with at least a little restraint, okay? Well, Runabe told you about how I did it. That was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. Engrave that into your heart. Yes, predecessor-sama. A good answer. Runabe, the 7 stakes of purgatory, arise. Yes, my lady. I, Runabe, am here. Was a bird bride right here. Up until this point, I've been a little flashy, but, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important, and about that, as Runabe laughed at Beato's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her. Certainly. From now on, we will be careful to act in a graceful manner, suitable for the name of the Golden Witch. Even the 7 Sisters of Purgatory will reform their bad behavior up until now, and we shall espouse to perform our task in the quickest possible manner. Would that be acceptable, my lady? Indeed. That's it, more or less. Everyone, take it to heart. Okay? Yes, certainly. That is all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly. If you would excuse me. Excuse us. Well, that's all I want to say. So take care as you move forward, understand? Act with dignity, and, restraint, okay? Give it your all. I'll be watching over you. Acting awkwardly until the very end, Beato left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies, hiding her form in the empty air. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After all that remained was Maria's corpse, lying down and pounded by the rain. Rose's corpse, propped up by the fence and staring up at the sky, and the figure of the witch. Show some restraint, you say? Her expression looked just a little bored. Oh, really? It's an interesting way to get exposed to it. There was a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. What a boring person. Leaving that last sentence behind, she once again vanished into the empty air. We still haven't seen the most Toho-ish characters yet. 11 a.m. Z. Okay. I was considering maybe just going on reading Umineko the whole time, but I think I'll have time for probably a bit over an hour of Cataclysm. It'll be a bit short for Cataclysm, but that'll do for Umineko, so let me switch things over here. More like there's practically a Toho character in the scene. You'll see soon. Probably next time I think it'll come up, actually. It's really, really soon.